I don't know if the same thing happens to you as it does to me when I visit places like this. I am always overcome by a feeling of freshness and vitality that I feel attached to nature after the morning dew. The transformation of these roads when the wild flowers color the banks, the lush trees, the thick forests and the great diversity of fauna is the image that is drawn daily in these fields. But unfortunately, every day these ecosystems are deteriorating by leaps and bounds, with increasing logging, mining and the continuous contamination of water tributaries. It is necessary, then, to learn to live and exploit these ecosystems causing the least possible impact, taking into account that we depend on this fragility, which on the contrary does not need us. We had the opportunity to meet Mr. Jairo, a Boyacense living in the municipality of La Ceja in Antioquia, and we talked for a long time about the advantages of living in balance with the environment that surrounds us. I have seen good results because I have not been in this practice for 5 years and up to now in my fruit trees, let's call them peaches, avocados, bravos, hammers, papiuelos. There will be other crops, other fruit trees of a development that do not believe me that I do not use chemical poisons, and I do not use them, because I would be wrong to be deceiving myself. I do not use here any kind of chemical wine. In my farm is a totally organic farm. I do not use chemical fertilizers, I do not use weed killers. Well, here we have a good part of the farm that for me is very strategic because it is the place where the water from the source of Las Brujas flows. So it was a very unprotected area, and it occurred to me to plant native species, among which we see sagualos. These two small ones are sagualos, almost an endangered plant. It is very scarce. We see their maraboyos, of which I have many. Here in my farm, we see duramocos. We see the sorrow palm, which gives a very resistant stem that in the past was used for cradles and that is now abolished because it was also almost on the way to extinction. There is another maraboyo. Here we see a neguito of another kind of fruit tree for the birds. 7 hides, more palms and in the lower part. Further ahead you can see another variety of abito, which is different in the development of the plant. But in the same way they are plants that give sustenance to many birds. Another abito, it is more rebellious. It wants to leave wherever it wants. Because it is accustomed to live in the forest, then, I try to organize them by pruning them and let's see who will educate them more, if they come out like that or if I can educate them. There are many varieties of ecosystems, each one with different features. They all play an important role in the environment in which they are. Regulate water, control pests, serve as food and shelter for animals. So it is of great importance to preserve and plant native plants of the regions where you are, because they have the necessary characteristics of the place where they are, and if we finish them, we change or destroy ecosystems. This tree is a cherry tree. It is the one that produces the national flower of Japan. I brought this tree from Paipa, from the Faculty of Agronomy of Boyaca, because remembering my youthful years in my land, we took, in those big trees, baskets of cherries, and here I managed that they developed spectacularly. This tree is not even 4 years old. I have about 10 trees here. Also with the purpose of returning to my youth and also to have food for the cherries, for the birds, but they do not produce me. They produce a lot of flower, just as the flower sets, it produces the fruit, but it does not ripen and I do not want it to ripen, but it does not ripen. And I was talking to the people of the agronomy faculty there in Paipa in Boyaca. They told me that the same thing was happening, that it was not the times of the 50s or 60s, that we harvest a lot of cherries. No. The greenhouse effect has also damaged the habitat of these plants. The greenhouse effect has also damaged the habitat of these plants, which are from the seasonal zone. Global warming has also harmed us, so I have left them here. There is support for the birds and suddenly the flowers come to set, but I did not apply any artificial product. I do not want to force the bush. If you cannot force them. Many times animals go unnoticed, but they are essential for the proper functioning of an ecosystem. We must learn to respect them and live with them. From the smallest to the largest animal, we have always benefited in one way or another from them. Pets, for example, are of great help in daily work and some others serve as food: horses, cows, dogs, chickens and many other species. Those cans are not like for vanity, but I realized when this tree began to produce papillolas. I arrived in the mornings and found papillolas watered there, ripe, open and unoccupied its internal part. Then they were the chuchas, the weasels, and I saw the whole tree scratched, all this torn, the animals climbing up to eat. Then I began to think, what do I do with this? Poisoning. I would not like to poison the bush animals, so I got the idea to get aluminum, zinc sheets and make those rings, and I realized, a few days later when I looked at my bushes again, that the leaves were already damaged but the pest was not able to climb up, so they did not come up again, they slip and do not go up, so it was the way, a mechanical way, because if sometimes a fruit falls from above, they take advantage of the one on the ground, but they are not going to destroy the whole crop. So here we are approaching the place where it seems to me the most demonstrative, that we Colombians, farmers or whatever they call them, should take care of natural resources, to take care of water. The treasure of my farm, this is it. Water is essential for the process of life. It is fundamental for human beings. Forests are necessary for the collection, cleaning and distribution. Trees are designed to catch the rain. It slides through the leaves, branches and trunk until it reaches the ground, avoiding erosion and floods. They are also natural regulators of the climate, reduce air pollution, generate food and are the habitat of many living beings. Don Jairo, what is the name of this bush? This is the famous rescadra. The leaves and stems are impressive. It is spectacular. As primitive. This is very beautiful, what nature does, such stems, such development. Here I have been touched by this land, Mother Nature. And this is the main protection for the birth of water. Here in these leaves, that is where they are most preserved, and this is sacred to me. This is untouchable, this cannot be altered, it cannot be modified. This has to continue with the intelligence and with the judgment of nature that knows more than we do. That must be a toucan or a woodpecker. There are many birds that make similar noises.
Impresionante.
Esto es hermoso.
It is that this is what one must enjoy, not only to arrive at a farm and raise everything to earn money, no. One must also have satisfactions, when one arrives at the moment in which one is not behind the money, to have a moral satisfaction and leave something in the life of a knowledge and not to pass through the world without breaking it, nor staining, not as the saying goes, where is Vicente go? To where people go, is to try to have a different initiative and try to do it to see if it worked or not, and to see what has worked for me so far, above all that. See Don Jairo, this leaf, here we fit, around 5 in a downpour. It's an umbrella. What an impression. It is what nature produces. I had never known a leaf this big. One sees the leaf of the Victoria Regia in the Amazon. But that is in the Amazon, but in this land. Wonderful. Look at the size, with 4 of these you can roof your house. The idea of my farm is to continue taking care of it because I have here that are making me like a meadow, like a carpet. They take care of the water and prevent the water from damaging the land because they are not in direct contact with the uncovered soil, but they fall on the grass, it runs by gravity. I don't contaminate, I don't poison the water that other people down below need to consume it. One must be aware that the water is not only for oneself but for the people down below, for our fellow human beings, and we must also support them and take care of the vital liquid.
El aroma es